single fin carving through the water taps into our deepest fears. Sharks. They are often the stuff of nightmares. But how do we know which ones will really ruin your week? Using the latest shark attack stats, we count down the 10 deadliest sharks in the world to find out which one is the most likely to make us human chum. As you loyal Discovery viewers know, sharks hold a special place in our imagination. They're the villains in our movies.
None of man's fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws.
The stars of our documentaries. And the name we give to anything that's powerful, sleek, and ruthless. You might say, we're obsessed with sharks. That's probably why you're watching now. So get ready for a frenzy as we count down the world's deadliest sharks. As it turns out, the ocean is loaded with sharks. There are more than 400 types out there. They range from 6-inch curiosities to 45-foot filter feeders. And at least 30 species have attacked people. But before you blame the sharks for that, remember, they've sat at the top of the ocean food chain for 400 million years. And while that's one menu you'd think we wouldn't want to be on, fact is, more of us than ever are playing in the shark's domain.
Humans have not evolved to live in the ocean, and as such, every now and then there will be interactions. It won't be pleasant for us because these animals are perfect hunters. They have adapted to an ocean that we are just merely visitors in.
According to the International Shark Attack Files, in the past decade, sharks have attacked 380 people in America. 16 of those were fatal. Scary stuff, but try to keep some perspective. You are 10 times more likely to choke on a hot dog than be attacked by a shark.
We are not sharks' prey species. They don't like the taste of us. We're scrawny, we're bony. If sharks hunted humans, there'd be a lot more than 6 or 7 fatal shark attacks a year.
Riley's right. But this is Shark Week, and the fact is, there are plenty of sharks that could take a bite out of you. We looked at the numbers, attacks, and fatalities to come up with this list. So, what are the 10 sharks you really don't want to meet this summer? A good place to start is sunny Florida. With its long, hot summers and consistent surf, the beaches are regularly packed with people. Welcome to New Smyrna Beach, also known as the shark bite capital of the world. It's estimated that anyone who swims here has been within 10 feet of a shark. Sharks attack about 24 people on this beach every year, and yet the surfers keep coming.
If they have to go down there and surf those waves, we're telling them, yes, there are sharks in the water, a lot of sharks at times, and they are biting people. And if they have to surf, they're going to do so at their own risk, and we're not going to put our employees in harm's way.
But it's not Jaws hunting here. Great whites prefer cooler waters. So who's the prime suspect behind 20% of all shark attacks along the Florida coastline? It's number 10 on our list, the lightning-fast blacktip. Every February and March, an estimated 10,000 blacktip sharks flock to the Florida coastline to breed. It's like spring break for sharks. Blacktip sharks dine on the bait fish that live in the surf zone. That's why surfers bear the brunt of their attacks.
2 of them just came at me as fast as they could and hit my surfboard. Went under my surfboard, came from behind and pulled me off.
So called because of the black coloring on the tips of their fins. The largest blacktip on record was 9 feet long. But if it's any consolation, the one that bites you is probably no more than 5 feet. Most injuries are minor, but that's cold comfort if it's your leg that's mistaken for a fish.
I saw the full thing right in front of me, just tail whipped right in front of me. His tail came out of the water.
Blacktips are known as the hit-and-run specialists of the shark world.
Like someone just hit me in the back of the leg really hard with a baseball bat.
They often depart the scene of an attack as quickly as they arrive. Their victims rarely ever see them.
Often it's because there's multiple sharks in the water, so they have to take that opportunity to get something when they can. And that may be the flash of your hand, which it mistakens for a fish, has a go, realizes it's stuffed up, and gets out of there.
Black tips have clocked up at least 28 attacks on humans, but none fatal, which is why they're only number 10 on our countdown. If you spot a shark next time you're snorkeling, chances are it's a reef shark. They're normally docile, but just put a bit of fresh meat in the water, and the reef shark's Jekyll and Hyde personality cuts loose. They're like manic shopaholics, determined to make sure that other sharks don't beat them to the bait. Reef sharks bite anything that moves.
The problem with a feeding frenzy is the sharks get so agitated and excited and just have such drive to find the food that on occasion they'll bite each other or even themselves because it's such a frenzy they don't know where the food exactly is.
Strange as it might seem, diving with frenzied sharks is actually a popular activity these days.
That's totally rated as the coolest thing I've ever done in my life.
This underwater thrill has turned reef sharks into a deadly contender in our countdown. Averaging about 6.5 feet long, the reef shark is not big by shark standards. But when you meet one in the water, that's plenty big. Because reef sharks' eyes are on the side of their heads, they have excellent wide-angle vision. But this also means they can't see what's exactly in front of their nose. The problem is, when attacking the chum your shark guy puts in the water, the reef sharks don't see where the fish ends and you begin. So unless you're wearing your trusty chainmail diving suit, you might want to keep your hands to yourself. A bite to a main artery could turn these aggressive sharks into accidental killers. Thankfully, that hasn't happened yet. They've recorded 29 attacks, but none fatal, making the reef shark number 9 in the Sharkdown. Sharks have honed their senses and killer instincts to perfection. The next one might even detect the tingle running down your spine right now. Looking more like an extra from a sci-fi movie than a deadly predator, the great hammerhead can weigh up to 1,000 pounds and grow to 20 feet. That's a respectable size for a sailing yacht. That odd-looking head is called a cephalofoil, which means winged head. It actually works like a rudder, giving the hammerhead better maneuverability than any other shark. Its amazing features don't end there. Moving its head from side to side as it swims, the great hammerhead's eyes are like the panoramic function on your digital camera. It can also see in the dark. Hammerheads can zero in on the faint electrical signals given off by all living things. Living things like you and me, or their favorite prey.
Think of the cephalofoil as acting like a metal detector on a beach. Sharks use the cephalofoil to detect electrical pulses that are under the sand. And this is very, very effective at finding stingrays, which they love to feed on.
Injecting their needle-like teeth into the ray, they rip off its fins and devour it. Conveniently enough, stingray venom doesn't bother them at all. One great hammerhead was caught off Florida with 96 stingray barbs embedded in its mouth. Could they be dangerous to us? Short answer, of course. They like tropical waters and coral reefs, the kinds of places we go on vacation. So yeah, exercise extreme caution, because they can detect you and that fish you just caught from many miles away. The great hammerhead has 17 recorded attacks, but hasn't killed anyone, as far as we know. At 3 times the size of a blacktip or reef shark, it could easily make a meal of one of us, which is why it's number 8 in the countdown. Next, we meet a shark that's a natural-born killer, even before it leaves the womb, and a deep-sea dweller that has been called the most dangerous of all sharks. We're counting down the world's most amazing sharks. Why? Because it's Shark Week. Tiger sharks, bull sharks, great whites. We've all heard of them. Because they kill more people than all other sharks combined. Which do you think is the deadliest? Might be surprised where we end up. From here on out, all the sharks on our list are proven killers. Starting with number 7, the shark with the most impressive teeth in the sea. The sand tiger, also known as the ragged tooth. With a face like a horror movie, the sand tiger wins our prize for the scariest looking shark in the sea. Being shark-brained, you've probably already met it. Its large size, mean looks, and sinister nature make it the most popular shark for public aquariums. And what's not to like about a 10-foot, 350-pound shark with a mouthful of protruding teeth? Just as long as it's behind glass. Their snaggled teeth are perfectly designed to puncture prey before gulping it down whole. Adults eat dolphins, swordfish, and other sharks. As babies, their diet is more sinister. Sand tigers give birth to live young. A female has not one uterus, but 2, each containing several pups. So why do sand tigers have one of the lowest birth rates of all sharks?
They give birth to only 2 young. And that's because when those young are in the womb, they're eating their brothers and sisters. Amazing.
It's the ultimate survival of the fittest. Biologists digging into the bellies of pregnant females have had their fingers bitten by cannibalistic young with fully developed teeth. But those ragged teeth aren't its only lethal weapon. Sand tiger's eyes are like permanent night vision goggles. A membrane at the back reflects even the smallest amount of light back into the eye. Very useful for this nocturnal hunter. Your best bet, if you want to stay off the sand tiger's menu, is to stay out of the water at night. It's good advice. This scary-toothed monster has notched up 31 attacks and 1 fatality, which is why the sand tiger is the 7th deadliest shark on our countdown. Teeth and sharks go together like a hot knife and butter. But were shark teeth responsible for this? Long-distance swimmer Michael Spaulding was crossing from the Big Island to Maui in Hawaii when a mysterious attack forced him to call off the attempt. The strange-shaped bite on his leg was the only clue. Similar wounds found on whales, dolphins, and even the mighty great white pointed to just one culprit, a feisty cookie-cutter shark. This strange-looking creature has the largest teeth of any shark, relative to its 20-inch body size. But what the cookie-cutter lacks in size, it certainly makes up for with surprise. Radiating light from its bioluminescent belly, the cookie-cutter is camouflaged against the light that hits the water from above.
It uses bioluminescence to actually lure in and attract its prey. And in doing so, enables it to then suction onto the animal, twist a corkscrew of flesh out, and escape with the prey being none the wiser.
Well, maybe a little wiser. The attack on Michael Spaulding is the first ever documented case of a cookie cutter attacking a human. The gaping wound in his leg required multiple skin grafts and plastic surgery. Still, let's be honest, not many of us swim in deep water at night. So while you wouldn't want to meet it, the cookie cutter is not deadly enough to make our top 10. Of the species of shark that roam the deepest ocean, the oceanic whitetip is legendary. Their ability to sniff out passing ships, even in the most isolated areas of the sea, meant that ancient mariners nicknamed them sea dogs. But the famous French explorer Jacques Cousteau went one further. he called the oceanic whitetip the most dangerous shark in the sea. And they've certainly earned their reputation as assassins. They were responsible for the deadliest shark attack ever. In the early morning of July 30th, 1945, a torpedo from a Japanese submarine destroyed the USS Indianapolis. As the ship sank, 900 men entered the water. They were soon surrounded by sharks, oceanic whitetips. Attracted to the blood in the water, the whitetips preyed on the helpless sailors for 4 days. When rescue finally arrived, only 317 men had survived. Because it could never be proven that the oceanic whitetips were solely responsible, the event was never recorded in shark attack statistics. If it was, the oceanic whitetip would be the deadliest shark on our list. But, as the official tally sits at 3 fatalities from 10 attacks, these aggressive sharks will have to settle for number 6 in the countdown. The whitetips aren't the only killers from the deep sea. The next 2 sharks are also able to sniff out prey from massive distances. And these sharks aren't only a threat to long-distance swimmers. Aggression and speed, 2 deadly characteristics that the sharks in the top 5 all share. 2 of the fastest are sleep dwellers of the deep that really like to get around. Mako sharks and blue sharks. Which one do you think should be next? This baby-faced assassin is the blue shark. It mixes speed and aggression with a bite first, ask questions later policy. Blues are beautiful sharks, but don't be fooled. Behind those puppy dog eyes and streamlined physique is a calculating killer. Growing up to 9 feet long and weighing in around 400 pounds, the blue shark is no lightweight.
Even with its teddy bear appearance and docile manner, it can actually hunt prey bigger than itself and never knows when to give up because it's always hungry.
Note the battle scars. Blues are notorious for attacking prey a lot larger than themselves. The blue shark will actually eat until it throws up, and then carry on eating some more. Such gluttony doesn't seem to weigh them down. Lethargic as they look, the blue shark can switch on the afterburners when needed. But even at an impressive 25 miles per hour, the blue shark is left trailing in the wake of another deep ocean traveler. It's competition on our countdown. The short-fin Mako. No other shark can match the short-fin Mako for pure pace. At speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, this toothy torpedo is the Usain Bolt of the underwater world. The fastest shark in the sea.
When I'm in the water with a Mako shark, I'm seeing an amazing animal that's finely tuned to speed. It's built for speed. It can do things, and it does things at a higher frequency, at a higher level. It's spastic, it's hyperactive, and it's almost the perfect, most efficient predator.
Growing up to 12 feet in length, Makos hunt fast, bony fish like tuna, which they catch with speed bursts of their own. In a classic case of, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, the Mako's tail has evolved over 400 million years to match its favorite prey.
The tail is like that of a tuna fish. The upper lobe is very similar to the lower lobe, and that's because it catches more water and it provides acceleration.
The tail isn't the Mako's only advantage. Its skin is covered in special scales called denticles because they're shaped like backwards pointing teeth. They smooth the flow of water over the Mako's body, reducing drag and increasing speed. A skin so efficient it inspired human engineers to create shark skin suits to help elite swimmers go as fast as humanly possible. The key word being humanly. The Mako is faster than any other swimmer, even the Speedy Blue, which means that if you meet a Mako, you don't stand a chance of getting away. But it might give you a warning before it attacks. If a Mako swims around you in figure eights, it's probably too late, as underwater filmmakers Mark Priest and Rob Torelli found out. Filming in the deep water off the south coast of Australia, they're suddenly confronted by an angry Mako shark. And there's no time to escape. Their only protection? Cameras. They get a money shot that was way more than they bargained for.
If we didn't have our cameras, I think we would have a fair chance of getting bitten. They've got razor-sharp teeth and big mouths. When they bite, they play for keeps.
The scary thing is that with climate change, fishing pressure, changing ocean currents, what if the mako shark becomes a coastal animal? I personally feel it won't be a good thing for us to swim as a surfers.
With 11 recorded attacks and 2 fatalities, the short-fin mako is number 5. Which puts the blue shark at number 4. Why? Well, it has a deadly skill that's even more powerful than the mako's speed. Smell. Now, it won't sniff you to death, but the blue can detect a possible meal from many miles away. And when this weary ocean traveler gets a whiff of food, it rises from the depths to attack.
It's hard to imagine a blue shark being dangerous with those big teddy bear eyes that look at you and a big rounded snout. However, things that get hungry do things that are dangerous.
In 1999, fisherman Jimmy D'Ambro enters a fishing contest off Massachusetts. Soon he hooks the bite of his life. He doesn't know it yet, but on the end of his line is an angry blue shark that is not very happy about being reeled in. Still attached to his rod by his harness, poor Jimmy hasn't figured out that the blue shark is strong enough to turn the tables and reel him in. Now he's in the water with a hungry, angry, and very deadly blue shark. His buddies struggle to haul him back on board. Lucky to be alive. After such a close call, Jimmy decides to let the shark go.
He threw me back once, now I threw him back, so we're even.
Because they usually stay in the deepest parts of the ocean, blue shark attacks aren't that common, but they're often deadly. Of the 13 recorded attacks on people, 4 were fatal, which is why the blue shark is number 4 on the countdown. As bold as the blue shark is, it's not the only shark with an appetite bigger than itself. It's time to meet the big 3 and find out which is the world's deadliest shark. Ponder this, shark lovers. What shark can grow 24 feet long, weighs 1.5 tons, and devours polar bears? Give up? Well, meet the mysterious shark that we think should be called Ice Jaws. Scientists use the rather less exciting sounding name, Greenland shark. It's the only shark that lives in the ice-cold ocean surrounding Greenland and Iceland. Great whites visit here in the summer, but the Greenland shark survives here all year round. And it has scientists puzzled. They thought it was a docile, slow-moving monster from the deep, probably a fish or squid eater, until they cut a few open and checked out the stomach contents. They found the bones of horses, an entire reindeer, antlers and all, and even a polar bear jaw. Who knows how the horse and reindeer ended up in its stomach, but polar bears often swim long distances. Could the Greenland shark take one down? It's a scary thought, but since no one in their right mind swims in polar waters, the Greenland shark can't crack our Sharkdown. But aren't you glad we showed it to you? Okay, time to reveal the 3 deadliest sharks in the ocean. Let's check out the contenders. First up, it's the mighty great white. As one of the largest sharks in the sea, it's also known as one of the smartest. But our next contender proves that size and brains aren't everything. It might only be 8 feet long, but the bull shark can live in salt and fresh water. And finally, growing up to 18 feet long and weighing over 3,000 pounds, the tiger shark is a master of deception. The distinctive stripes along the tiger's body are the perfect camouflage to hide in shadows created by waves. But it's the tiger shark's strange appetite that raises the most eyebrows. Scientists digging into their stomachs have discovered car license plates, rubber tires, and even a chicken coop complete with chickens.
We often refer to them as the trash can of the ocean. They have a stomach that's capable of breaking down a lot of these objects, and these sharks certainly can derive energy from most of them. But it seems to be an animal that is incapable of distinguishing food from garbage.
So, does the tiger shark's crazy appetite make it deadly? Or does it have something to do with their love of tropical water?
The reason tiger sharks are so dangerous is due to habitat overlap with you and me. They inhabit coastal, murky, turbid areas, often with good surf. And what that does is put surfers and swimmers in their predatory behavioral areas, causing shark attacks.
Tigers have clocked up 100 recorded attacks, of which a stunning 29 were fatal. Which is why the tiger shark is the third deadliest shark in the world. So, that leaves us with just 2 places on the countdown to fill. Will number 2 be the bull shark or the mighty great white? Without a doubt, the most notorious shark in the sea, the great white is the biggest, the strongest, and the scariest of the man-eaters. In 1 year, the great white munches down a whopping 11 tons of food. That's 20 times more than we do. But the white shark is no greedy guzzler. Unlike the trash can tiger sharks, great whites are discerning diners. They like to taste first, and nearly always spit out their human victims. Taste receptors in their mouths let them know instantly whether the prey is fatty enough to be worth the effort. Apparently, buff surfers just don't do it for the white shark. Dead whale is much more delicious. Not exactly comforting news when you consider that even a taster bite from the great white has enough force to cut you in half. It has another trick up its sleeve. The great white can dislocate its jaw and jut it forward to devour prey a lot larger than you'd think. But the most impressive aspect of the great white is its brain. At the world-famous Seal Island in South Africa, great whites rely on more than just speed and brute strength. They use strategy. The seals may think they can make a run for it, but the sharks know better. Rocketing up from the ocean floor, these 2-ton behemoths hit the hapless seals like an SUV traveling at 35 miles per hour. They really don't stand a chance. This ferocious spectacle happens just a couple of miles from popular surfing beaches off Cape Town. As the water warms up in the summer months, thousands of swimmers and surfers flock to the shore. So do the great whites. Are they hunting us? Don't panic.
We have an island where great whites viciously jump out of the water hunting seals, yet then move into the coastal waters where people are swimming, surfing, and surrounding these sharks. And fatalities are still a rare event.
It seems the great whites of Seal Island can share their water with people. But just 400 miles up the coast, there is another picturesque beach with a very different story. South Africa's Port St. John's Second Beach has been dubbed the world's deadliest beach. Permanently closed to swimmers, there have been 8 attacks on people here since 2006. 7 were fatal. Is the great white stalking swimmers here? Or does the beach have another menace? A brutal rival for the top spot? Lifeguards, lucky enough to escape attacks, have identified a pack of aggressive bull sharks as the killers at St. John's Second Beach.
I think the bull shark has got a great name. Bull. It's bullish. It's robust. It's heavy. It's a big shark that can exert a lot of energy when it attacks and kills. It inhabits shallow water. It goes into areas where people are. It's territorial.
Known as the pit bull of the sea, the brute strength of the bull shark is frightening. Pound for pound, it has a stronger bite than any other shark. Stronger even than the garbage-demolishing tiger shark. Or the mighty great white. Why? Good question. No one knows for sure. But that's not the bull shark's only trick. it has adapted to life in both salt and fresh water. Given its insane bite force and an ability to hunt in rivers and at beaches, the bull shark can kill in the most unexpected places. In India's northeastern river systems, locals have blamed thousands of mysterious shark attacks on the critically endangered Ganges shark. Feared as a ferocious man-eater, the Ganges shark is rarely ever seen by humans. But the bull shark hunts here too, and there are a lot more of them. There we have it, the bull shark and the great white, our final two contenders in the top 10 Sharkdown. Comes down to this. There are just 2 sharks left in the countdown. So, it's time to line up these notorious man-eaters to find out which one you least want to meet. In the left corner is the great white shark, able to tear you in two just to find out if you taste good. It's on record as having killed more humans than any other shark.
Unfortunately, most people think of the great white shark and they think of Jaws. I think it's important for all of us to remember, Jaws was a fictitious monster. It does not exist.
Maybe it's time to change the great white's image to something rather more refined. People are now even singing to them. Crazy people, but they're alive so far. And here's an interesting stat for you. Of all the great white attacks reported in the last 2 decades, 80% of the victims survived.
When a shark attacks a person, it's instinctive that they're attacking what they perceive as their prey. And all too often, they realize the mistake is made almost immediately. And when these mistakes happen, unfortunately, people get hurt. But it's such a rare instance. And these animals really are not there to feed on us. They're there to feed on other marine creatures that they have evolved with.
Maybe the sharks aren't the only ones prone to mistaken identity. It's quite likely that a generation of Jaws fans have simply blamed great whites for things that other sharks have done. Sharks like these highly aggressive hunters. That's right, bull sharks. We're looking at you. Patting the great white on the nose is one thing. Standing in the water next to a bull shark is quite another. What's more, the bull shark likes to hang out in far more places where we swim than the great white. Here's another damning statistic. 80% of shark attacks happen in tropical waters, where the cold water-loving great white is rare. So what's the chance that the most feared shark in the sea has been taking the rap for the deeds of others? With that in mind, we're putting the much-maligned great white shark at number 2 on the list of deadliest sharks. Let's hope they don't hold it against us. Take a bow bull shark, the newly crowned supervillain of the shark world. What's more, there's one other fact about the bull shark that rings alarm bells. It has higher levels of testosterone than any other creature on the planet. That may explain why the bull shark is such a feisty character. And unlike the discerning great white that often backs off after an exploratory bite, the bull shark isn't known to taste and spit. As ocean levels rise due to climate change and saltwater mixes with fresh, the bull shark's unique ability to kill anywhere and eat anything make it more dangerous to us than the great white. The bull shark is the deadliest shark on the planet. Well, it's been fun counting down the deadliest sharks. We should remember this. The deadliest creature doesn't have to have a fin on its back. For every human killed by a shark last year, humans killed an estimated 6 million sharks. And isn't Shark Week a lot more fun with actual sharks in it?